He was like, listen, if the issue is money, I have money. I said, sweetheart, did you just come at me like that? Hi gorillas, welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back.
We're so glad that you guys are here with us. Surely by this video we should be on 1K by the. So if we're not on 1K, there's a problem. It means that you need to subscribe. Because we know that some of you guys love the content, but you're not subscribing. So please subscribe. Please. So the reason why we are excited for this video in particular is because of how well our last video that had a similar hashtag that was As a Ugandan did and how it performed. And in the last video we were speaking about drinking culture and the things that we feel like we have had conversations about before off camera that we wanted to come and like open up about with you guys. And so today's video, the tea is getting hotter.
Hey,
Things getting spicier. We thought it would be interesting to discuss our experiences being women.
it's like you're taking long.
I'm just like
saying it
because this topic is quite heavy. It's a lot, but yeah, being women in the creative industry and in the creative industry in Uganda. So as a Ugandan, being a woman in the creative industry, I feel like
it's going to be so interesting to record and share, because I think people that we've worked with, specifically men, might see this video.
Yeah.
People that we actively work with. But I think a big reason we're doing this video, firstly, is to vent. Just to vent, man. Just to talk. Because I also think this thing comes up in like me and Ethel's conversations, but we never fully unpack.
yeah, we're just like microaggressions.
Can you believe this? Then we just move on to the next thing. And also because like, yeah, and I think also just because we want to know like, if the women watching this have had similar experiences, and maybe you guys might have better coping mechanisms than us that you can share with us, and maybe some of our coping mechanisms might work for you.
As I said, there's so many things that we wanted to talk about in this video, but we decided to use like a specific set of questions to guide our conversation. So that's sort of going to, when we both answer those questions. So we're going to take or walk through this video using those questions. And the first question...
The questions are on our phone, by the way, and we're going to read from there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
it is what it is.
Not everyday cinema.
First question is, what are things you noticed as soon as you started working in the creative industry?
You can go first.
All right. First thing I noticed was people calling you a camera woman at events. Me, I get offended easily, and I know myself. Sometimes I like have to keep things to myself because I'm like, Ethel,
not everyone takes that the way you take
exactly.
it.
Like learn to appreciate like the people's different points of view. But I remember the first time I was at an event and I was shooting, and that's why even like these days I'm very picky with events and stuff like that. I'm like, not every event I'm going to go shoot. But someone was like, you know that thing of like, there's a stereotype about camera people being like the slaves at events. You want like a photo for your Instagram, or you want 20 photos for your Instagram.
That time you're not the person that hired.
Thank you. You're not the
person that hired me.
But then you want 30 photos of your Instagram. Then you tell me,
and you're like, please can you send me my
stomach? And can you tuck in my stomach? It looks big in that picture. Can you please tuck it in, please? But that's what I define as like being a camera woman. I just feel like I just feel like that term for me was like, just made me feel some type of way. But yeah.
Okay, I think that one of the first things I noticed coming back home, and I would say this is like in 2020, I'm a creative, I'm an artist, but I will never, ever, ever be a struggling artist. That thing, I'm not, that narrative, keep me out of it. This thing of that artists, we have to struggle, we don't have money, we're not business-minded, we're broke, what? But I remember one of my biggest fears was just like, okay, as a filmmaker, what am I going to do? Where's the money going to come from?
Yeah.
I mean, I even did like a double major in uni because I was like, maybe I should have this. Okay, I love psychology, but it was also like, have this other thing. Yeah. But guys, like being in the industry and being here, let me tell you something. You can make money as a creative in Kampala. You can make that money. You can make more money than people in other occupations. Yep. You can make so much money. However, it's not going to be out of you being an overnight success. That thing is not likely. As a creative, it's not likely that you're going to sleep and wake up, or you're going to cut a deal and wake up and be the person you want to be wealth-wise.
Like all professions as well. Like
no, but I do think with certain professions, everyone hustles and everyone has a climb. But I do feel there are certain professions where money can come quicker, where you can get to a certain level quicker.
Country,
in this country.
Definitely.
So you guys, just if you're thinking about working as a creative, becoming a full-time creative, what? I don't know why this chick is laughing. You can make money.
But get guys, rich quick. Yeah, I'm laughing because if you think you're coming to be a creative to get rich quick, like Bambi, perish that idea. Perish it. I think the other thing that I struggled with, or something that I noticed as soon as I started working in the creative industry, is that my line of photography, or the kind of photographer I am, I don't even know how to describe that. I've struggled so much with moving back and knowing I like photography and knowing I'm a photographer.
But what kind?
Because when I say I'm a photographer, and me by then I've stopped saying that thing. Okay, it's on my Instagram, but if I meet you in person, I'm not going to say I'm a photographer. No. Because you're going to ask me, so what kind of photographer? And
they're going to ask you, my cousin is having a bridal shower. Can you shoot it?
I'm so stressed. It stresses me so much. And the thing is that so for me it was the styles of photographer and naming assumptions about the word photographer and the kind of photographer you are. They assume that you shoot events or shoot you can come to their office and shoot portraits. Not that I can't do that kind of work, but maybe my style, I know my style is a lot more portraiture and documentary.
Or even BTS.
Yeah, so behind the scenes stills, a stills photographer. And these are words that I'm also learning and discovering the kind of photographer I am and the kind of photographer I want to be. But I struggled that I noticed that there was only one version of a photographer that a lot of people knew or understood a photographer to be.
I want to add to that because something I've thought about just with creatives generally in Kampala is because of the way the economy and the creative economy are set up. There's very little specializing. Yep. Guys, in other in the more developed world or whatever, you have someone who tells you, I only take pictures of feet.
Or newborns, yeah.
I only take pictures of newborns, things like that. Or hands of food and stuff like that. Whereas here, man, to make it, you kind of have to do everything. You try to do a bit of everything because you also need to eat. You know what I mean? So I think that might also be where that's coming from. I don't think it's from a negative perspective, the way people assume the kind of work you do, but it's just that's what exists here.
That's what they know.
I'm this, I am a musician, but or not a musician, I'm a photographer, but you tap into so many different things.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. That's the thing that I think both Ethel and I have started trying to stray away from. And often people take it as, you don't want work, you don't want money, you don't want jobs. But it's I know who I am and I'm trying to move closer to that and grow that.
Yeah.
And I think the thing I like about specializing in one thing is just how good you can get at it. But I think that's where that thing comes from. Yeah. People thinking you do anything and everything.
You have to make ends meet. And if you're a photographer, you're not going to say, I'm not going to shoot a baby shower because I don't enjoy it or because I don't like it. You need to make money.
Yeah.
But I've seen photographers in the Ugandan industry who have successfully done that specialization. They say, I do not shoot baby showers. I do not shoot weddings.
Shoot events, I only shoot events.
Exactly. And it's their niche and it's nice to see.
Yeah. Question number 2. Oh, okay. The next question, this is a nice one.
Yeah.
Because things are about to get deep. But it's what have been some highs of working in the industry? I think for me, a main one is the women I've met and the women that have held my hand, the women that have shared wisdom with me, and then the women that have given me a chance. And these women, I always say this, I would not be where I am if a black woman didn't give me a chance. Yeah. Every step I've taken, every milestone has something to do with another woman,
and I'm thinking of their names in my head. I'm thinking of their names. I'm just
I've talked about all of them on this channel so many times. They know themselves. Love you guys. Hello. Shout out.
Yeah.
But seriously, guys, no, I wouldn't be the power in a black woman just giving you a chance. And I hope I'm doing the same or I can do the same. But for me, that has been a high. And just the experiences I've got to have because someone holds my hand and says, I'm doing this, come, you're also part of it. Or try this. Or there's, I've had so many great experiences working with women.
Agreed.
In the industry.
Agreed. There's some lows, but I feel like a general theme around my highs that I've experienced is that connection with women in the industry. When I meet creative women, guys, there's a part of me that just what happens, it's just bubbling with excitement and so much joy. And also for me, it's the friendships that are formed from those. I feel like those women have taken a chance on me. Some of them have they've seen things in me that I don't even see in myself, but they're like, I believe in you, I believe in your work, I believe in your creativity, and
sometimes you're not even yet where you need to be to get that job, but they're like, I'm taking a chance on you, and I know you can work at it and deliver.
It's just, it's really
I think it's also such a blessing that we both have that experience, because I don't think everyone has it. And I do know that it can be very difficult in different crafts in the creative industry to find other women doing that thing. I've always thought about, like, it would be so nice to have some sort of, like, register or something. I don't know, an Instagram page where it's like, these are all the women that do different things. Because often you're like, is there a woman who does, like, cinematography or is a DOP? Is there a woman who does,
in
like,
Uganda,
script supervisor? Is there a woman who does editing? Is there a woman who's a rapper? Is there a woman who's, like, there's so many things where you're just like, I don't know if I know any. And it's a blessing to know people who do it. And I always think about, how can I help other people in the industry, women and men, know these women more. But
that's dope. I actually think I like what Acelia Beauty is doing with, like, their series, their monthly, like, spotlight series.
Shout out, give us a follow.
Where, like, you guys, they highlight, like, a woman each month, I think. And it's like, I don't know if it's limited to the creative industry, or is it, like, general?
I think it's general.
It's general, but I like things like those, because I feel like also, you know how in March, every Women's Month, I feel like we're celebrating, like, the same women every month. And women, we're so versatile. There's so many different women. And I like seeing platforms or series like those that show me women that I might not have known before that. So it's really cool. I like initiatives like that.
I don't know when I wrote it down, I was like, man, I don't want to glorify or romanticize, like, suffering or bad experiences making you better. But the truth is, I've really learned how to assert myself. And that's a high for me, because I look at myself now and there are things I can do now that, like, I was so scared to do before. And it's really freed me. It's really freed me to go for what I want.
Like what things? Can you say
not
some?
Be focused on what people think. I think just asserting myself in terms of money, asking for money and the amount of money I ask for, or even saying this is not enough. This is what I'm doing for you. This is not enough money. And if you can't give me more, I can't do it. Asserting myself in terms of my ideas, asserting myself when I'm in leadership positions, and not feeling scared. Just generally, general life, when you're talking to service providers, when you're on the phone with someone, there's so many people you interact with in life as you're doing work and business, that I'm just not as timid. And I like that.
And immediately they find out that you're a woman. You have to do that, guys. I can't emphasize this enough.
How much do you need to do that?
You need to assert yourself. And there's this, sometimes, like, you think about it too much and you're like, do I need to do that? But I'm, like, encouraging you. If you think about the need to do it, then do it. Because hey, man, it's sad, but you're just going to be taken for an idiot if you don't. So, yeah. What have been some lows?
Now we're getting into the real stuff.
Let's get into it. I think one of the things that has made me really sad is all the times when I look back, and I haven't been working in the creative industry for that long, but, like, when I look back at, like, moving back and all the opportunities, like, that I took out of fear, and I let myself take, like, a fee or a cut that was not up to my standard or what I felt like I should have been working for at that time. So basically, forgiving myself for the times that I cut myself short. Yeah, being sad about those times, but just being like, man, those are learning lessons. As you said, you can't learn until you go through those things. So for me, it's just been, like, seeing those as, like, growing experiences or opportunities to, like, learn and be better. Yeah.
I think for me, a very significant low, because I've experienced it multiple times, even at uni I experienced it, is being on set, like being on a film set or whatever, and I'm the director, but often the actors or subjects, whatever you call them, or people on set are looking to the next male in line for direction or for questions. So it's like, okay, the director is a woman, okay, who's the next man I can talk to? And that thing is difficult because, first of all, it throws me off completely, because as a director, I kind of need to orchestrate the space. Like, I need to be, I don't want to use the word control. It's not a nice word. But I need to direct. And I can't direct if you're not trusting me with direction, or if you're getting information from someone else and stuff like that. Even little things where, like, I say something, but then
you have to ask.
Someone else has to say it for you to be like, huh? Okay.
And I've seen it happening to you. I've been on set with you where I have seen Shari directing, and I've seen the male energy is way more
It's like
in comparison to the
I get
female energy.
swallowed by
and
that.
it's like,
or just men talking over me as I'm trying, and I'm like, do your job. That's not your job. If you want to direct, then next time tell us you want to be the director and you will direct, you know?
Yeah.
So that's very frustrating. And I think a way in which it has affected me is that now when I'm in male-dominated spaces, I can sometimes be like, to keep the peace, let me chill out, because they're already doing the most. Like, and also sometimes you can even see like the person you're all trying to direct is confused. Sometimes I'm like, I'm the director, but I sacrifice to say, let me keep quiet, because who are they supposed to listen to? And these men are not about to keep quiet. This one
of my biggest lows has been I don't know that I should read it word for word. I feel like that's the only way I'll be able to like say it out. But it's struggling to maintain meaningful work relationships with people I feel violated by. So, I mean, this is the world, and like living in Uganda as a creative, I've been violated, and I feel like there are many instances that things have happened to me, whether it's verbal or non-verbal, and things have happened to me, and I am disgusted. And I want to shout at this person and slap this person and be like, cuss this person out, do all these things to this person. But because of one reason or the other, I am still existing in this space with this person. And they are not dead. They have not disappeared. I have to continue my work. I have to do my job. As Shai was saying, direction. Like, you have a goal. If you're bought and set as a stills photographer and someone grabs your ass or someone touches you inappropriately, are you going to be like, I'm off this set now, I don't need this job anymore? Like, you call bad behavior out, but then your feelings, your emotions about it don't change. I've still been violated by this
and
thing.
Very often action is not taken, so you're stuck in the same space as that person.
It's like,
you wake up tomorrow and they're still there.
Thank you. They exist. They still have their job. A good job at that, and they're being paid, I don't know how much. But that has been a low for me. I think it still is a low. And that one, I don't know how to deal with it. I don't have any advice.
You don't have advice. You don't know.
I don't know. That one, I don't know.
Yeah, the next one is, what are things you've noticed you do because of respectability politics or assumed gender roles? I think for me, a main one is, number one, not calling people out, especially men, on their shit behavior, basically, and their incompetence at work. I'm always very understanding and apologetic. I can find myself apologizing to you for not doing your work. I don't know, like I can find myself apologizing for being too stern with you, yet I should have been that stern with you.
Yes.
Because I'm and for me that I think just comes from what I've internalized over the years subconsciously about how a girl or a woman should be, and what emotions not emotions, but in what ways I'm allowed to react and interact with people. And as a result, I often find myself in various spaces picking up slack.
Someone is not doing something?
Let me just do it myself instead of talking to them about it. There's also this assumption that, like, I found this assumption where it's like, we're all creatives, but as a woman, you're more organized.
Yes, you have your admin in order.
Yeah.
So you can do someone's work.
I can make Excel sheets, but you can't. I can make tables and calendars, but you can't.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And to be honest, maybe sometimes the men we work with don't even know that we feel this way about it, because
they're doing that.
Yeah, because then they're like, they've offered. Has offered to do it. There's someone doing it.
Yeah.
And so I think I shouldn't even now start being more like, you do this. Yeah. You should do this. I can't do all of this. But even just that thing of being very understanding and apologetic. Women, stop saying sorry.
So something I think I do because of respectability politics, or like gender roles, really. And I do it so subconsciously that I'm like, sometimes I imagine a world where I didn't have those preconceived ideas and I was freed. So it was not a factor. But I think overthinking my rates, or like the rates, my rates as a creative, but like, generally my rates in life, just whenever I'm asked to share my rate card for something or share a cost for something, I'm like, and I think first of all, Shari, I think something you taught me was that whole thing of like, also starting to quote or share my rates in dollars and things like
and
that.
ask for more. Always ask for more.
Ask for more
not
money.
Not even need to negotiate.
It's like, yeah, it's like opened up a lot of things for me, because I'm like, do you know what people are asking for? Do you know what the people who are not even as qualified as you are getting paid just because they ask for? And that's something I think that I do, or I have done in different spaces as a creative, like just in career-wise. It's just like I'm always selling myself short.
I think for me, the final thing on this point is taking on leadership roles with my chest. Like, yeah, I'm a leader in this space can be hard. I feel like I've been in leadership positions since school, but I've always had this thing of, okay, but I don't want to be on anyone's bad side. I want to be the leader that's your friend and that everyone likes. And that's great, but you can't always be that person. But I find it hard not to be that person. I'm so careful not to make anyone feel some type of way, but it's like you've been put in this position because they believe you can handle the work and do the role and keep people, keep the machine moving. So keep the machine moving, do whatever it takes. And I don't think I've even reached a point where I've learned that 100% yet. I think I've gotten better at it, but it's something that I've struggled with. Respectability politics, in terms of, I guess, when I've been in leadership roles in spaces where there are people older than me,
below you,
yeah, that's also, I'm like, man, now can I go and start talking to this person like this, or telling them this, or like
this is your
telling
uncle.
them they have not done this and they need to do it. This is my auntie, this is my uncle, things like that.
Yeah.
And then I think also with men, I don't know why I remember, it's so weird that this memory has come back, but I do remember a time in high school where I got like a leadership role that a friend who was a guy wanted, and like he went on this rant about how he should have gotten it instead of me. And I was there sitting like, yeah, I hear you, friend. I hear what you're saying.
What annoys me most about respectability politics is I feel like, not that I don't have a choice, but sometimes I'm like, I've been taught this from home. Like, from growing up, there are certain things that, the ways I act is because of how I was conditioned, like as a girl growing up in my parents' home. And even the way I was groomed, or like, my parents raised me in comparison to my brother, there are ways that I feel like he can do certain things, or he is allowed to be more assertive and ask so many questions. They're like, you ask questions. Oh, he's so smart. You ask questions as a girl. Why don't you just listen? Why do you always have a reaction to things?
Oh my gosh.
Why can't you just listen? And I'm like, things like that, I think it frustrates me so much, because I'm like, why mind? Can you just get out of how they raised you? Can you just act like your own person? That's like so frustrating to me. And yeah, it's like constantly calling yourself out. And I like having these conversations with someone like Shari, because I'm like, I can catch myself when I do it the next time, and I can be like, no man, stop that shit. Stop doing that. And I can learn to respect myself more, so to demand the same respect I have for myself from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, another story has come to my mind. I feel like for me, like, uni was hell level 4 when it came to this thing of like gender politics and respectability politics, because in my film class there was a lot of white guys, white boys, whatever, white uni students. Guys, let me say something.
You told me this.
I don't know what it is, but a young South African white man who comes from money is a big difference. He's like level 5 of racism, level 100 of racism. And I remember an instance where we were just working on a small little project, probably like 2 minutes of a video. And I think I was in charge of the team. And one of the things we were supposed to do was collect receipts every time we spent money on something and give them to the producer, because I think the money was given to us by the school or whatever. And so I was just like, as the lead in charge of the team, I like being organized. We were driving around, I think, in one of the white boys' cars, and I kept saying, when you put fuel in, when you do stuff, like when you stop to buy batteries, please give me the receipts. And he would never give me the receipts. I kept saying please. And then he, like, finally, he just got annoyed and made a comment where he was like, listen, if the issue is money, I have money. I said, sweetheart, did you just come at me like that? Aside from what we internalize, it's also difficult how we are viewed because of those very politics that we have internalized.
When men start to know you and the kind of person
to know you,
know like that you're going to speak out about, like
they're like, oh, so now you're going to do that.
Yeah, are you going to be annoyed? You're going to do that to me, guys.
Yes, I'm going to be annoyed, and I'm going to
do it to you. Whatever you think the bad thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do it to you.
By the way, we are witches. We are feminist witches here. We are joking.
I'm going to hunt you.
Yeah, joking.
Yeah, I think I've spoken about this before in our mental health video. Just generally about relationships, but I think this also extends to your work relationships or your relationships with your people who you have professional relationships with, but then colleagues, but you don't need to they're not your friends, you just work with them, and you've either felt violated by someone, or you feel like the way they view you is very disrespectful, inappropriate, or all these things. I've found that boundaries help me, and it might not actually be obviously physical boundaries, like I can decide not to be in a certain space or be there, but even like mental boundaries for me, like I'm not going to have that conversation with you because I know you. I know your views. You've expressed these to me before explicitly, and I don't need. So sometimes I've learned, I sometimes switch off very quickly. Me too. Yeah. You start having a conversation.
I'm so good at.
Wow. I'm off. I'm there physically, but mentally.
Zero.
I'm far. And it has really helped me,
I'm starting to think about other things that are important.
My to-do list. What is next on my day?
When this conversation ends, I'll get this and start doing this.
Because people love to talk. And they can talk even when they're not receiving any response from you. So let them talk. They finish their point and you go on. You know, it's really the best. It's really the best, and it has helped me. It's unhealthy though. Like I feel like sometimes when you feel you've felt violated, especially, I encourage you to speak to someone about it. Because I've found that sometimes
someone who has power in the space to do something about it, I think.
Or even like to unpack what it is you're feeling and why you're feeling that way with a friend that you trust, or someone who you feel like is not going to belittle your feelings, someone who values your opinion about that specific issue. Like for me, that's you. Like I know that if I experience some microaggressions or I'm annoyed by something, I know because Shari has probably experienced something similar, or because she works in the creative industry, she would understand and she'd be like, she'd sympathize. Even if she has no advice for me, she'd be able to listen and appreciate that.
And hold space.
Exactly, hold space for you. So I also encourage people to do that. I think
in addition to that, like talking to someone, guys, therapy. I know me and Efe always recommend therapy on this channel. But seriously, like you can go to therapy to specifically talk about work issues. Like therapy is not only just it's about the other stuff. Like even work, you can go and say I'm specifically doing therapy for this. I think another piece of advice I would say is, girl, learn that money talk. I used to be a person who was like, I'm a creative, I'm really not into these business things. I want someone else to handle all my business affairs and the money stuff and whatever. That's great. And maybe one day I will. But you need to understand. And you need to be able to talk money. And you need to understand how money works here. You need to be a hustler. But for real, guys, because no one is going to give you what you want. You're going to have to ask for it.
Unless you know.
And you're going to have to understand how money works and all that kind of stuff to be able to back yourself. Because there's no one going to back you. So don't be completely clueless about the money side of your creative work or your creative project and stuff like that.
And it gives you confidence in conversations, because if you're having a conversation with someone
can't just play you.
They can't tell you, they can't judge for you more, because you know your equipment, you know how much it costs, you know the shipping costs, you know your programs you edit on, like you know you have, and you know you've even compared prices in the industry, you know what people are getting paid in Kampala, and you're like, you're not going to pay me 10 times less or whatever it is. So I like that. I love that.
I think.
The final point is about not, and I feel like you said something similar, but it's not feeling bad about what you're saying, or not having to sugarcoat what you're trying to say. I've found that in spaces where I am a creative or I'm just a woman existing in a professional space, and there's something I want to tell someone, the point you've made is very stupid. It's stupid, and everyone, and don't do it again, Bambi. But then this person is like, obviously their feelings are going to get hurt, or when I feel like someone has done something that they shouldn't do again. I've found that sometimes I sugarcoat things, but the other day, actually, I was with my sister, and I did something, and I told her, and she was like, Efe, but that's so mean, that's so mean, that's so mean. Then I asked her, I was like, if a guy had done that, would you have said that it's mean? And she's like, okay, no, I understand. Like, and I can see that you did it because you needed to set some clear distinctions in this conversation with this person. And I'm like, so I've learned to stop. If I am thinking something and I feel like it needs to be said,
say it.
Just say it.
Really use your mouth, because men like to use theirs for various things.
Yeah, you know that. This has ended on a very happy note.
Yeah, guys, I think this brings us to the end of our video. I think, first of all, I don't think we have finished this topic.
Never,
I don't think we can never finish it. So let us know if there's more you'd like us to delve deeper into. But also just, if you're here at the end and you've watched the whole thing, thank you.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts. Maybe if you've learned something new.
Please.
If you've related to something. I don't know. Yeah. And I hope that the very little, minimal advice that we've given you is something. And start tougher. We shall make news.
We'll come back in part 2.
Bye, guys.
Mwah.